respected Dr. Narayan Chakrabarti, Sri Praveen Ramdas ji, Dr. Jayanta Roy, Professor Bimal Roy, Vivekananda Vijnana Mission Office Bearers, respected delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to be here among this distinct group of eminent scientists and science lovers in memory of our great scientist, Sri Satyendra Bose. I am not a scientist. As T.S. Eliot says, I am no Prince Hamlet nor was meant to be. I am an attendant lord. Even though I was not a scientist, I had the opportunity to work with the great scientists of the world. I was chosen to represent India in the great laboratory in Europe, CERN. It's a laboratory under the Alps, 27-kilometer tunnel, in which recently the Higgs boson was discovered. That is where the Large Hadron Collider experiment and also the CMS is taking place. Then also in the ITER, that is where the Fusion Energy Research Center in Carthage in Paris, where also our great scientists, particularly physicists, are joining together to create sun on earth, fusion energy, creating endless energy used to be the same technology which is used by sun, that is fusion of deuterium and tritium. All these places I had the opportunity to be with the scientists, though I am not a scientist. So some of science and technology has seeped into my mind unknowingly. It is said that, it was pointed out here, that S.N. Bose had 100% in his paper, right? I am near to that. You take the one from there, I am the rest of that, 2 zeros. That is my association with science and technology. One thing I tell you, when I see so much of a dignified people here, see, as governor, I had the opportunity to address many conferences and conclaves. But I would say that the credit of the Vivekananda Vijnan mission, this is the most dignified and most purposeful meeting I have attended. Credit goes to all of you in the audience. I was a little scared about the various photographers who are here. And in one of the international conferences here, held in here, there was a photographer who had the latest photographic technology with him. He takes your photograph and immediately, real time, he does the Photoshop activities. He gave a photograph of mine. I look like an amalgam or a blend of Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan. Proudly I showed my photograph to my wife. You know what she said? Better than the original. So I'm scared of photographers. I'm here. I, at the outset, give salutations to the great scientists of the world who have enriched the field of science and technology, having been in the Department of Atomic Energy and also having been in the various laboratories in the world. The world owes a great lot, particularly on this occasion. We pay salutations not only to the great scientist S.N. Bose, but also the great scientists who have pushed the world forward: Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, James Clerk Maxwell, Niels Bohr, Richard Feynman. And when we come to India, we have a rich array of great scientists: C.V. Raman, Homi J. Bhabha, of course our Satyendra Bose, Vikram Sarabhai, Meghnad Shah, and we cannot forget the missile man A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. My salutations to all these great scientists who have enriched the world around them. Now, as an ordinary layman who is looking at science with wonder from a distance like a boy, I would say that India is a nation which has been benefited by the use of science and technology in areas as widely different as atomic energy and agriculture. It's not time for us to forget the Green Revolution, when India was facing a situation which was ridiculed by the whole world as ship to mouth, those days of the PL-480. But the American ship laden with grain has to reach our ports, otherwise it will be famine in India. From that day onwards, India is one of the richest countries in the world as far as agricultural production is concerned. And to an extent, I happened to head the agricultural ministry in the government of India for about 3 years with Mr. Sharad Pawar. You know, our farmers have produced more than enough. In many fields, we are first in the whole world in milk production, in rice production, in various other agricultural produce, India has become self-sufficient. During the days of COVID, the prophets of doom predicted there will be starvation deaths in the country. But our granaries were full with grains. That is where science and technology has helped. Of course, there is the complaint that in agricultural field, we toxified the land because of artificial fertilizers and chemicals. That is why Sri Brahma Swaminathan himself told me that from green revolution we should go on to evergreen revolution. Evergreen revolution is biological farming, natural farming, bio-farming. That, he said, East, particularly West Bengal, is going to be the hub of activities as far as the evergreen revolution is concerned. See, we have tremendous technologies developed by the various scientific institutions, but these technologies are kept in the shelves of the laboratories. I think here, Mr. Praveen Ramdas said about the need for lab to land. Yes, we have technology options in any field. Alternative technology is there, or cost-effective technology is there, environment-friendly technology is there. I was in the field of environment-friendly and cost-effective housing at Nirmati Kendra, which has now become one of the global best practices, and the Prime Minister himself has declared houses of all. See, these are all possible because the strides made by science and technology. But technology does not move from lab to land. It is like we develop technology and keep it in the laboratory shelves. It is like the modern ladies buying ornaments. They don't wear it, they keep it in the locker. So technology is remaining in the lockers. But one seminar here or a conference there, that is not enough to take technology from lab to land. One swallow does not make a summer. What I need is not tokenism but total coverage. The great technological options that have been developed by various technology institutions in the world, in India, should reach the people in adequate measure. That is where we have to lay emphasis on. Dissemination of science and technology. It is very important to disseminate science and technology because this nation has come among top of the world. We can great technological advancements, particularly for Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan. You see, this is said to be, when Chandrayaan was sent, the then chief of ISRO, Sri Madhavan Nair said, Chandrayaan costs only an auto rickshaw charge. You take the population of India and calculate how much auto rickshaw charge is required for each. That much money was not spent on our Chandrayaan mission. In fact, I am told the money that is spent on Chandrayaan mission is less than the money which is sent on the film, Gravity. That is where our scientists have proved, the resilience of the Indian scientists. That is something which is not everywhere. As one who was with the scientific team in CERN and in Kadrash, tremendous respect which Indian scientists gather there because of the resilience. British scientists or the American scientists or the European scientists, if anything goes wrong, they don't know what to do. If the electricity fails, of course electricity doesn't fail there. If the electricity fails, Indian scientists work with a candle. That is the resilience, The great resilience of the Indian scientists have been widely appreciated everywhere. There should be social commitment. It is not enough that science and technology is developed. The scientist's duty is only developing science and technology, which they are doing in great measure. I remember having read a survey a few years back. The new generation, university students were asked, who will save this land in future? So many categories were given. The politician, the bureaucrat, then the professionals, scientists, military men, judiciary. They said, number one, younger generation opted for the scientists. They said India's future is most safe in the hands of scientists. Scientists got the first prize among the new generation. Second comes military. They said military has improved its stature after independence. The third was judiciary. The last was politician. The new generation said we don't expect anything from the politician. The second from last but one, my own help, the Indian Administrative Service. So they said the bureaucrats cannot solve any problem. Government cannot solve any problem. Because once, President Reagan said, government cannot solve any problem because government is the problem. I used to tell the bureaucrats in the IAS Academy when I go for lectures, bureaucracy cannot solve any problem because bureaucracy is the problem. So scientists, the new generation lays its hope on the scientist. What does a scientist do? What does Einstein Bose do, which is different from other scientists? See, when I speak of Einstein Bose, I earned undue credit for having a name which resembles his Bose. In CERN, I used to take part in deliberations very actively. Because my role was to define the international agreements, not science and technology. But since I used to speak in every forum, they thought I am also a scientist. Because all others there are scientists. See, there is only one restaurant there, big restaurant. When you go there, if you ask somebody on the table, will you please pass on the salt and pepper? He may be a Nobel laureate. So I think I was only non-scientist there. But they thought I am also a scientist from India. One day, when I was in the lift, another prominent scientist came. He looked at my label card. Then he said, no wonder he is from the famous Bose family, Einstein Bose. And you said about Bose, Einstein Statistics. From Einstein also I learned something. What it is, I tell you, I told you I used to listen with rapt attention. The lectures given by the great scientists who come to Park where I was there. And also in CERN and other places. So I also mucked up a little bit of what science is, not knowing what it is. Now, when Einstein shot into fame with his theory of relativity, everybody wanted to listen to him. Great scientists' lectures. Einstein has some idiosyncrasies, as you know. He will travel only in his old car. And the same driver should be there, whichever country he goes. He was invited by Oxford. He came in his own car, in Dover, by ship, and from there they started driving. The same old driver is there. And Einstein is in the habit of backseat driving. Do this, do that, do this. Then the driver said, please keep quiet. Don't do backseat driving. My driving is not like your theory of relativity. Einstein said, your driving is more important than my theory of relativity. Of course, on the London streets, my driving is more important than your theory of relativity. Okay, then I'll do one thing. I will drive. You speak on the theory of relativity. They are friends also, the driver and the Einstein. Friends, so Einstein in a huff came to the driver's seat. Driver came behind. In this melee, they forgot that it reached the gates of Oxford. Professors came with bouquets and all. Naturally, the VIP sitting in the background. Nobody has seen that, but the television was not there. So Einstein's face was not very familiar in other places. So they thought this must be Einstein. They invited him and felicitated him, gave him bouquet, and he was led to the podium. And they said, now, ladies and gentlemen, the much awaited moment, the great Einstein will speak to you on the theory of relativity. The driver gave an excellent speech on the theory of relativity. Like me, he had heard it from various scientists. Then, at the end of it, the professor of Oxford asked high energy physics. The driver did not know what to do. You know what he did? Elementary, professor, elementary. This question even my driver can answer. Driver, please come and answer. So in that way, only I can speak about physics. I've heard it from the great scientists there, in CERN and other places. Now, what does a scientist actually do? A scientist is going after truth. He says his only objective is to establish the truth. Find out the truth behind nature, the secrets behind nature. He doesn't advise, develop atom bomb or destroy. No, that is done by the politician. The scientist only seeks the truth, is a seeker of truth. And what is truth? In the Bible, when Jesus is produced before the governor Pilate, after listening to the accusations made by Caiaphas and Annas, asked the question, what is truth? Bacon immortalizes in his essay. What is truth? Asked jesting Pilate. and would not wait for an answer. What is truth? We are all out for truth, isn't it? I think the best example of truth I heard from the Yoruba, that is the Nigerian tribe, Yoruba. In the Yoruba tribe, there is a tale. Truth and untruth are siblings. Once untruth asked truth, why don't you go for a swim in the river, a friendly contest? Truth agrees. Truth comes on the shore of the bank of the river. He takes off his clothes and jumps into the river and starts swimming. You know what untruth does? Untruth puts on the clothes of truth and goes to the towns, pretending that he is truth. The townsmen greet him, showered with blessings. They invite him, hip hooray, and then truth comes after the swimming. Truth sees that his clothes are missing. All that is remains is clothes of untruth. So truth decides, under no circumstances will I wear the cloth of untruth. So truth walked without clothes to the towns. That is why the naked truth came, So naked truth, seeing naked truth, people poo-poo him. They throw stones at him. They drive him away. After a long time they realize that masqueraded before them in glittering clothes is not truth but untruth. Truth, like murder, will one day be out. The scientist's job is to establish the truth. Whether the politician uses it to make bombs or destroy the whole world, his job is to find the truth. That is a great search for truth which I have seen in all the laboratories where I have visited. Kudos to the scientists. They are perhaps the only community which goes after truth, the whole truth and nothing but truth. That is the spirit of you. Now, behind the search for truth, there is a quality difference. Truth is not absolute, as you know, as we have seen. In Ujjain, yes. In Ujjain, we have the great tradition of Vikramaditya. In the court of Vikramaditya, the Navaratnas were there. Who are the Navaratnas? I remember having learned it in the primary school. Dhanvandarik Shapadava Amara Singha Shanku, Vedana Patta Kharagpur Kalidasa, Khado Varahamiru Nrudo Sabaya, Vednani Varariji, Tava Vikramasya. These are the great scientists, these are the great Navaratnas, scientists, architects, mathematicians are also there. Dhanvandari, Shapadava, Amara Singha Shanku, Vedana Patta Kharagpur Kalidasa, Khado Varahamiru Nrudo Sabaya, Vednani Varariji, Tava Vikramasya. These are the great Navaratnas. The Vikramaditya is on his sick bed, deathbed. The courtiers say, the ministers say, the young prince is ripe for coronation, so he can be crowned as a king. Vikramaditya, who values learning, he said, no, he has not learned enough. Let the prince go to the people, live with them, learn from them. The prince goes incognito, lives with the ordinary people, understands their feelings, their sentiments, how they think, how they feel, how they react. He comes and tells whatever he learned to the ministers, to the courtiers. The senior courtiers, ministers and Acharya say he has learned quite a lot from the people. Vikramaditya hears this, and from his deathbed he said, not enough, not enough. Let him go to the forest. There is a hermit there. Learn from him. He goes to the hermit. The hermit just nods, please go out to the jungle and listen to the voices there. The prince listens to the new voices there. Lot of new voices which he has not heard in the palace. He comes and reproduces it before the hermit. The hermit said, no, not enough. Listen, listen, listen. The prince listens, with rapt attention. He comes and tells the hermit, I have heard two new sounds. What are those? I heard the sound of daybreak. I heard the sound of daybreak. I heard the sound of honey getting filled into the flower. Then the hermit said, now you are fit enough to lead. Now you are fit enough to be king. You could hear the sound of silence. You should hear what others cannot hear. We should see what others do not see. There are some scientists like Einstein, Bose, Bose, who, unlike the other scientists and ordinary people, they could hear the sound of silence. That is what distinguishes them. And you all regret that J.C. Bose, that S.N. Bose did not get a Nobel Prize. No need to worry about that. He has got millions and millions of Nobel Prize in the minds of the people who remember him for his great contributions. Nobel Prize he has got from the ordinary people, from the people. I don't want to take more of your time. What distinguishes the great scientist from the ordinary scientist? What distinguishes great men from the ordinary men? Nothing much other than their commitment. You know, vision. Vision should be coupled with action. Everything in the world begins twice, as you know. Everything is born twice. First in your mind, then in the field. That is why Milton says, for the mind has castle, mountains and castles no man fathom. The mind is its own place. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. Mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. Isn't it? Vision. Any movement that has taken place in the whole world has come from the vision of a scientist or an artist or a writer or a revolutionary. Take for instance the great revolutions of the world. Be it the French Revolution, be it the American Revolution, be it the October Revolution, the Russian Revolution, or be it the greatest of great revolutions in the world, the mother of all revolutions, India's freedom struggle. Everything started in the mind of one person or group of persons as a vision. It is that vision which surcharged the others, ignited the minds, and resulted in revolutions in the world. When a revolution takes place, a scientific revolution, the greatest revolution, silent revolution, permanent revolution, sustainable revolution, is a scientific revolution which is taking place in there. This can happen only from the vision of one man. You know, when it happens, what is the result? As it happens in India, where science and technology has transformed this nation under great Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. You know, the Nobel laureate, W.E.H., he speaks in his Eastern 1960s, the great famous poem about the Irish Revolution. He said, when the revolution favor ignites the minds of ordinary people, all changed. All changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. That's what is happening in scientific India. All changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. If that beauty is born, the responsibility according to new generation is the scientific world, you people in front of me. You are responsible for the great change. That is. Can any scientist find out something we can stop cough when you're speaking? See, yes. You know, when before Shakespeare or Kalidasa dipped their quill in ink, they had a vision of what Vijnana Shakuntala is, what Meghadoot is, what Kumara Sambhav is, what Hamlet is, what Othello is, what As You Like It is, what King Lear is. Similarly, we saw in the Sistine Chapel the great frescoes of Michelangelo. There, before he put his brush in color, he had a vision of what the day of the judgment will be. It is actually vision should precede action. Vision should precede action. We had great visionary scientists like Satyendra Bose and Jagdish Chandra Bose and Einstein, great people who transformed the world because they had a vision. It is that vision which should be turned into action. And that is very important for the growth and development of a democratic nation like us. I remember an incident which took place in my life as a bureaucrat. I was a principal secretary to the Chief Minister. Chief Minister told me, see, Ananda Bose, I should do something very momentous for the tribals of the state. You please find out. You are the man of ideas, so please find out which is that project. So I, as a bureaucrat, called the secretaries, the district collectors, the magistrates, the chief engineers. What can we do for the tribals of the state? So many suggestions came. One sub-collector of mine, young girl, she said, sir, let us have a beauty contest among the tribal women. So many suggestions came. The chief engineer said, sir, let us build a bridge over the river because these tribals have to collect minor forest produce and bring it to the local market. They had to swim across a river, especially in the turbulent river in the heat. Let us have a bridge. Agreed. I also thought the right idea. Everybody agreed. We gave an outlay of 10 crores. But when it was completed, it was 30 crores, as happens in PWD everywhere. The day of the inauguration, Chief Minister is there, other ministers are there, Panchayat President is there, members are there, media is there, especially visual media. The visual media asked, this bridge is for the tribals. For the inauguration, where is the tribal chief? We knew that's going to be the headline tomorrow. Tribal chief was ignored in the inaugural function. So I, being the secretary, looked at the district magistrate. The district magistrate looked sharp at the Tahsildar. The Tahsildar looked dirt at the village officer. The village officer somehow got a tribal chief and decked him. A tunic was given to him. A wand was given. He looked like Ben-Hur stepped out of the annals of the Bible, fit enough for the visual media. The visual media, the television people asked the tribal chief, Chief, do you like this bridge? Chief, this bridge is for the tribals. Yes. Do you like the bridge? Very much. Why so much? Because before this bridge was built, we tribals had to swim across the turbulent river in the hot sun. Now that the bridge is there, we can swim under the shade. That's the type of development which we have done, In the name of development, my help in the IAS and others, we have built a lot of tribal bridges in the land. Scientists' duty is to find out the truth and give it to the people. They have to implement it properly. If science flows in implementation, the scientists cannot be blamed. We have great strides to be made through science and technology. India's march towards the Viksit Bharat will come only through science and technology. Only through science and technology. And science and technology has proved that Indian scientists are second to none. I once remember when Chandrayaan was given, Chandrayaan was launched successfully. There was a resistance guy, Madhavan Nair, I was also one of the speakers. There I told him, see, in India, any scientist with talent can develop and prosper. I was an atomic energy. Baba always used to say, you find out the scientist and build your laboratory around him. Don't ask him to do this and that. Scientist is an innovator, he's a creator. Find out his talent. Give him all the facilities there. Don't say, these are the facilities you do here. Baba's approach was, identify the scientist and build your laboratory around him. India has done that. That is why, we do not meddle with the military, that's how we win the wars. Isn't it? We don't meddle with science and technology, therefore, we can send the Chandrayaan and the Mangalyaan. Yes, that freedom is certainly be given to them, otherwise they will also start building. Yeah, coming back to Madhavan Nair and the Chandrayaan, I told them about, the scientific war which was there between America and Russia in those days. Who is topper? Between USSR and America. But then, America, China, Soviet Union sent a dog called Laika into the outer space, which is a landmark event in space technology. That's the time when Khrushchev from Russia, he came to America. He boasted saying that we could send a dog in the outer space. That shows advancement of science and technology in Soviet Russia compared to what is happening in America. Kennedy was representing America. And Kennedy in his reply speech said, yes, Soviet Union has sent a dog in the outer space. Honorable comrade, Khrushchev said that that shows the merit of the technological advancements made by Russia. No, we only see it like this. In your country, within the system which is existing there, any dog can go to any heights if there is somebody to boost you. But in India, you see, scientists are given the freedom. That is why they have been able to take India forward. I didn't want to take more of your time because there is a limit which is set for me. I remember a young scientist who was from Bharati. She was a bright scientist, But somehow she chose to be an air hostess. Even there, wherever I see a scientist, there is a quality in them, wherever they go. This air hostess girl, I was traveling from New York to Delhi. One old lady came, I think she was from Punjab, from Ludhiana. She came and sat in the first class. Air hostesses came and told her, ma'am, your seat is in the economy class, this is first class. And the lady said, like they say in the bus there, I am the first one to enter this vehicle. I will choose my seat. Let others choose the seat, that's a vacant. So many people told her she is not agree. Captain also requested, she is not agree. This scientist girl, she was also an air hostess. She asked the captain, Captain, shall I try? Please try. This girl comes and tells something to the old ladies, whispers something in her ears. This cantankerous old lady obediently gets up, takes her bags and goes and sits in the economy class. So we asked this girl, scientist and air hostess, why did he tell her, that old lady? And she says, sir, I only told her, madam, this seat goes to London, the other seat it goes to Delhi. So that is a smartness, the ever-present smartness which you see in a scientist. Now, I should actually, my promise I should keep. I have a doubt, which I am going to express here, which is very necessary for my functioning as a governor. Once upon a time, long, old stories, somebody said it should begin like that. There was a governor, there was a chief minister. They were at loggerheads, not in Bengal. Not in Bengal. Some other state. There was floods in the state. The chief minister decided, I will go for an aerial survey, because you can see so many places where flood has hit. And also the press will cover it better. So he came to the helipad. Knowing this, the governor came first. The CM is going, I should also be going. Then the DGP came, the chief secretary. They came there, the helicopter is there, but the pilot is missing. The pilot had gone to fetch his son from the third standard in the school, from the school. When he comes with the child, he sees that the chief minister is there, governor is there, all big pigs are there. The chief minister asked the pilot, so we have to go for an aerial survey, please start the helicopter. Politely, the pilot asked the chief minister, said, can I have 5 minutes? What for? So I would like to send my son to my home and then come back. No, let him also come, let him also come. Let him also learn these things. So the CM was very magnanimous. So they all entered the helicopter, including the child. Midway, in mid-air, there was some confusion. The CM is getting a coalition government, so CM knows very well when trouble starts. The CM put a parachute and jumped down. Governor also jumped down. DGP jumped down, Chief Secretary jumped down. Then the pilot told his son, Sony, there is only one parachute left in this helicopter. You please take it and save yourself. Don't worry about Papa, Papa will somehow manage. Then the boy said, no Papa, there are two parachutes there. How can it be? There are only 5 parachutes and 4 of them are jumped down. Oh no Papa, there are 2 parachutes. How can it be? That governor uncle jumped with my school bag on his back. So I am here to learn from the scientists the difference between school bag and a parachute. Essential knowledge, And moreover, now that they said about my association with Vijnan Bharati, yes, I remember the great international event Prithvi, in which I had the opportunity to be the chairman, of course with the support of all these people. Then I went with Madhav and after the Chandrayaan for a lecture tour in the GCC countries. That was also arranged by Vijnan Bharati, Jayakumar. Then I think I visited your, conclave in Kochi. Yes, with Chidambaram, great nuclear scientist, yes. Now this I think my 4th or 5th visit here. As Wordsworth said, 5 years have passed, 5 summers with the length of 5 long winters in Indian Army. Vijnan Bharati also, 5 years have passed, 5 summers with the length of 5 long winters, still I am here. I am not going to leave Toro. See there, I had a discomfiture. There was an international interfaith conclave which was held in the district of, where I was district collector, district magistrate. So many big spiritual leaders came from all over the world, including Billy Graham, the great Christian preacher, and so many Swamijis came there. Then, that day, it was the turn of Swami Chinmayananda. The Chinmayananda is famous for his lectures on Bhagavad Gita. So I went to pay my respects to Chinmayananda, being the local collector, district collector, and also to listen to his speech on Bhagavad Gita. There is an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Chinmayanandaji's flight has been delayed by 1 hour. Okay. Next announcement, in the meantime, our district collector Ananda Bose will speak. I was stunned, No information about a speech to thousands of audience. Anyway, I came on the stage. I asked the people, what is the topic? You know what is the topic? Dialectical materialism and the essence of Indian philosophy. Poor collector. Dialectical materialism and the essence of Indian philosophy. So somehow I started speaking on dialectical materialism, then Indian philosophy and all these things. 15 minutes passed. I get a chit. Normally when you get a chit during your speech, it means please wind up. You know what was written there? Chinmayanandaji's flight has been delayed by 1 more hour, please speak out. So I got to speak 2 hours on dialectical materialism and the essence of Indian philosophy. This is scene number 1. Scene number 2. I got a UN award for the global best practice in low-cost housing, which I was championing. I went to the UN General Assembly, got the award. They gave me 3 minutes to speak. I spoke. I was very happy. Coming back and relaxing in my Manhattan hotel, I get a long-distance international call from Kerala. That time, mobile was not very popular. International call. I could see, understand some old lady on the other end from Kerala. She asked me, am I talking to Dr. Bose? I said, yes, ma'am. Doctor, I need your help. Please tell me, ma'am. Doctor, for the last 3 days, I am not having sleep, So I thought maybe she thought I'm a medical doctor. So I said, ma'am, I'm not a medical doctor. I know everything about you. See, you have to help me now. You alone can help me. So I said, madam, do you have hypertension? Yes, I have hypertension, blood pressure. Are you in the habit of taking sleeping pills? Yes, I am in the habit of taking sleeping pills. Then you may not have taken the sleeping pills in the last 3 days, that's why you are not getting sleep. No. I took phenobarbital 500 mg and very clearly she knows what medicine she took. Then I said, ma'am, in what way can I help you? See, doctor, only you can help me. You remember that speech which you made on dialectical materials and the essence of Indian philosophy? Can you repeat it on the spot? I want to sleep. So before you say that, I think I should stop here. And moreover, recent, this discomfiture seemed to come to me one after the other. As Chancellor of the universities, I take a lot of interest in education. Even yesterday I had a meeting of the Vice Chancellors. I go for the convocations. In convocations, but I also try to speak in Bengal. Naturally, people encourage me. I gave a very long speech. Everybody encouraged me, clapping and laughing and all. So I thought I'm expected to speak more. When I started speaking more, I said, exhorting the students. Normally old men like me, when they see youngsters, we feel like advising them. So I said, we need industrial reform, we need agricultural reform, we need educational reform. One student from the audience told me, but you need some chloroform. Before he said that, thank you very much. Wish you the very best.